All right. Work-life balance. I know.
I don't know what it is. What is it?
Well, work-life balance. That's the topic today. But I know we're laughing because it's pretty much impossible if you think of the word work-life balance. There's no balance. Let's face it.
I think when we talk about balance, people think like 50-50. It always has to be 50-50 and it's going to be perfect. And you think of like the balance, right? It's never going to be 50-50. It just can't be. I mean, it's
No, it can't. And
not going to be even. It's not going to be perfect.
so I really don't like the term, but that's the term that's out there. It's really more, I call it sometimes more a dynamic. It's like a work-life dynamic and managing your energy for the benefit of your health. Because if you're not managing your roles and your energy and your time, you're gonna get gray hair. No, you don't get gray hair from that, but you're stressed out. It impacts your health and it impacts your performance, and you feel totally torn in all different directions. Been there, done that, and
Still there doing that.
feel guilty about it if you don't change that. In this episode, we are going to talk about how you can find your work-life balance dynamic, whatever you want to call it, but how you can implement different strategies that may help you to find a better way to manage different roles in your life. So welcome. I'm Heike Fallon. I'm a personal performance coach, and I help my clients with their self-leadership to have their health and their performance at a really good level so they can rock their world.
Hi. Hello. I'm Shannon Passalacqua, and I too am a certified high performance coach, and I help women heal after miscarriages so that they can figure out who they are after grief.
Yes, and all of them need to really find that balance dynamic, whatever works for them. Yeah, we're going to be honest up front. It's a journey that will never end. And
I was having this conversation with my hairdresser the other day, and I was telling her about the conversation you and I had at the beginning of summer, because at the beginning of summer, and right now we're at the end of the summer, thank God. And I was in tears. I was having a very hard time managing working, doing the work for my job, for my business, managing my kids being home from school, managing my husband being out of town all the time, and managing taking my kids to all their camps or all of it while trying to take care of myself, making sure I got my workout in, making sure I was, eating right and sleeping and doing, and I couldn't keep up. And I was beating myself up for it. And I was just in tears for days. I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And I remember you just saying, you got to put your business on the back burner during the summer. It's virtually impossible right now to do it all. And I had to give myself grace to be like, all right, I'm going to let these things go. And I'm going to let these things go for the summer. And I talked to my business manager, I talked to my personal assistant, and I was like, listen, I can't keep up with everything right now. And during the summer, we're going to just kind of have to maintain. And I will come back when the kids are back in school. I will come back and we will go full force. But it took that weight off of my shoulders. I still have guilt. I still feel bad that I'm not showing up like I want to.
But you did the first step.
Yeah.
You did the first step. Because I think that, and by all means, I'm still like, it's a challenge. I don't call it a struggle anymore because it's just a challenge, right? I feel torn all directions. We're not as superhuman. I don't know why.
No, I can't.
I don't know why I would. I mean, your list right now of all the different roles we have, right? I mean, for the listeners, if you're a parent or not a parent, doesn't really matter. You might have other responsibilities of taking care of,
Taking care of your parents. Your parents are aging. My mom, at the beginning of summer had cancer. Like there's all these things. It's like, I'm managing her doctor's appointments, my doctor's appointments, my kids' doctor's appointments.
So we all have different roles, right? And those roles are all important and they're just competing. And we need to learn to understand that, and by all means, like I said, took me a long time to make peace with that, is that we can't do it all. There's no way, because all of these roles technically need 100% of your time and effort and energy. It just doesn't work. And that's why there will never be a balance of any kind. It's more about to really go deep into first understanding what are my roles. You had a long list there, so you're very aware of, like, yeah, I'm a mom, I need to take care, I'm also a wife, I'm a daughter, I got to take care of my parents. So you have different roles, you're a business owner. So being really aware of what are my roles and at what time can I more do and emphasize different roles, because it's not about balancing necessarily within 1 week. So if you have kids during the summer, forget it. It's just, even if you think between dropping off at camps or something like that, you still think you get
I got those couple hours. You don't have those couple hours.
No, you don't, because there's more time going away with driving or otherwise taking care of, that you just don't have the same amount of time compared to when school's in session. And that might be also for other people. Certain, jobs come kind of in seasons, like you're more busy in the beginning of the year or you're more busy in the fall. So whatever that is, being really aware of, let's call it seasons, what season do you need to be more in this role and what season do you need to be more in that role? And then, so after you know your roles, then kind of figuring out, like, well, let's be realistic. The summer, you can't be doing as much on your business, and you need to put more time in and be there more for your kids, because that's what you care about too, right? Otherwise, some people might go like, okay, I'll hire some help. So whatever it be, no judgment, just whatever it is, you need to know for yourself what you want. Like for me, it's been always important to be a mother first, but at times my business comes first. It depends on what's going on.
Yeah.
And so the really one we're talking about, balance in that sense, it's really more how do we sort it in our head, in our perception, and with our mindset. And
it's a mindset, and it's giving yourself a lot of grace. I think it's the big thing is acknowledging it and recognizing it. And when we can acknowledge that, I can't do it all, and this is not going to be easy, and I need to change something. And that was true for when I was going through my miscarriages, that for the grief that came with that was true for when I'm going through perimenopause, like acknowledging it. This isn't easy. Things are changing, and there's something I need to do about it.
Yeah. And with that said, self-care, which is normally put on the bottom of everything, because maybe I have time left to go work out, or I have time left to take care of myself. But the truth is, it's like the oxygen mask in the airplane. You got to do that first.
Yeah.
If you're not taking care of yourself, and we did a whole episode about that, but if you're not taking care of yourself first, you can't really be there as full and with the energy and everything in your different roles. So self-care needs to have first priority, and that needs to be put into a regular schedule. So usually what I say too with my clients is like, first understand what's most important. And yes, they're all important. Understand what time, when is what important, but self-care is important no matter what first.
And I think what's interesting though is, and tell me if you've experienced this, is when I do self-care, when I do my workout or when I make time to meditate, I feel guilty, because I feel like, okay, well, I'm taking so much time for myself, and that's taking away from the time that I could be working. And it's like, so it's like dealing with that guilt as well.
Yeah.
Even though I know I need to do it. I know that, like, I understand it, and I still feel guilty.
Yep.
I'm doing too much self-care.
I'm with you. I definitely have to remind myself I used to skip, I'd be the one that dropped off, And because that's definitely a little bit of more a woman thing, I think, to rather like they take care of everybody else first
Yeah.
instead of themselves. So we tend to be more than, so for any man listening, you may have that too, but women seem to be having more that instinct that they feel like they need to take care of everything and they completely neglect themselves. But I think what really helped me in not feeling guilty or feeling like, this, I don't deserve it. And I never had that. I don't deserve it, but
I don't have that. I just feel
there's
like, oh, this is
definitely a
taking
little
away
bit of,
from
there's a
this.
little bit of feeling of like, well, I should get this done and I won't get it done, more like that. And but what I did is, and I had to really do, is like literally a time audit, because I was just thinking I can do so much stuff. I wanted to get all this stuff done for work, and I like my list of things I wanted to do were just seriously not even realistic to do in for anybody. Just even if you wouldn't have nothing else, if you would just have one role, it was way too much that I thought I could accomplish. And then I totally always had that feeling of being behind because my to-do list was long. And at the end of the day, I didn't even get close to finishing it, not alone, because that to-do list is usually work related and maybe a couple other chores I needed to do. And so number one thing is I actually slashed that to-do list big time. And then I did a little bit more time audit. And really be a more realistic of, okay, you know what? No, if I work out, let's say an hour, and I have, this amount of time that I need to be available, for family members, because I know they need me at whatever. And then really there's only that much left for work. Or, I need to get this done and I need this big chunk of work. And yes, that day will be only this much time for family. So I did literally writing out the times, like
That's a really good idea. And I think
did an audit.
I think the good thing about that too is also you're acknowledging and seeing where you're wasting time.
Yep.
Because I do a lot of
we all wasted on that phone or some other stuff.
I was just gonna say I do a lot of scrolling, and I'm like, when I'm doing that scrolling is when I could actually be working. And I justify it to myself, like, well, but I need to see what's going on in the news. No, I don't.
No, so I did a full-time audit, and then with that also was starting to be much more mindful of, how much time am I spending to search for something or doing, something that doesn't have a time limit. I put a time limit on it, so, and also I got all my apps have time limits on it. So I set them that it shuts it down. So,
but you can override those.
yeah, you can. And I've cheated myself too. I'm a human being. But it still is a reminder, and you're like, oh man, that was so much time. But I think that's a key component, is to audit and really start being realistic of what is possible. And that really helped me to embrace more and be more kind to myself, and not beat myself up of like, oh, I didn't get all of this stuff done. And then and then you don't feel good about anything. And then the other thing too comes with that is I started really writing down and doing a little gratitude journaling, where you really emphasize on, the gratitude and also your accomplishment, instead of looking at what you didn't accomplish, but also what you accomplished, and what you feel good about. And
I think the important part about that is, obviously the gratitude, but it's also managing your energy.
Yeah.
And when we're able to manage our energy, that's going to add more energy into our day, our daily lives. And I know we're feeling it right now. We need to manage our energy levels. And that's another reason too why I need to continue my workout, but also a reason why I need to do the time audit and do the gratitude. Because when we're doing that, which when you look at it, it's really not, it's gratitude journals aren't taking that much time of our day.
No, I did
10 minutes
at night.
tops.
Yeah. Yeah. 10, not even 10.
Yeah, no. And it is managed, it'll help boost our energy levels. It'll help change our mindset and our way of thinking. And that's gonna help, it's gonna make us more focused and able to, I think, do more through the day. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's actually backed up by research that the brain cannot handle working straight through, for example, and you're losing productivity. You do need to take breaks. And so when we're talking self-care, it's not just about, working out and stuff. And like I said, watch the episode about self-care. It's really about also managing the energy and time. So, you should really take a break every 50 minutes. And even if it's a short second
Yeah.
or whatever, like get up, move a little bit, or just closing your eyes, doing a little gratitude,
Yeah.
couple minutes or something, or a small little meditation. But it's really managing the energy and also setting boundaries. And that's a one big thing that I had to learn, is being very clear of how to set the boundaries, like when I'm working, that I'm not distracted, for example, and also to go like, okay, I'm the guilty one of like work carrying over to the evening because I'm more productive in the evening, but then
Yeah.
family time gets kind of
Yeah.
it kind of overlaps there, and I tend to be then doing too late, but then that affected my sleep again. So I had to really be and that's still my struggle, to be really, okay, no, this is the time I'm cutting it, before dinner. I'm not going to do anything after dinner, for example. So I have to be, that's my little my little challenge.
Well, I think, I mean, that's bringing in a lot of habits, right? Like,
Mhm.
and I've had a lot of clients push back on this. And I think what's interesting to note is a lot of people will say, well, I don't want to have so many habits that it's going to take away from my creativity or my opportunity to be spontaneous. And my pushback is when you have these habits, you have more time to be spontaneous. You have more time to be creative. And that was a big thing for me too, where I'm like, okay, I need to, these are the times that I work. These are the times that I meditate. Da, da, da. And when I'm focused on it, I have more time in the day. I have, I can be creative in these times during this time of the day. After that, family time.
Yep.
Like, and I think a lot of people push back because they're like, well, I don't want to be so structured because that's going to take away from things. I'm like, the structure is what's going to bring all of the good things to you. You
Yeah.
need the structure.
Yep. Love that. And also, with that said, there is no right or wrong. And that's what
Right.
the challenge is, right? Because you have
But
to
is that balance? Like
it,
structure? No structure. Like, things are going to go all
well,
over the place if you don't have any
the,
structure.
the truth is, one extreme or the other extreme isn't good.
Yeah.
You need to
Right.
figure out what works for you, when and how much. And at the end of the day, what I had to really come to terms with, it's my own choice and my internal pressure.
Yeah.
It's not, to find the right work-life balance is me making choices, and I have the luxury of making choices. We all do. We can choose, and it might be sometimes limited to certain other factors, but you still can choose to take a
Mhm.
minute break or 2 minute break. You can still choose to not sit the whole time and stand up. There's still lots of choices, even if you feel like there aren't. It's tight. And it's not, there's that external pressure a little bit. Maybe somebody feels like, oh, if I'm, because of cultural reasons, for example, that you're supposed to, take fully care of your kids as a mother 100%, and you don't have a job, but you happen to have a job. So that's things of like where you need to really, at the end of the day, look at yourself. It turns into
Personal.
an internal pressure and really gain clarity. And that's, that's what you and I do as coaches is, you gain clarity about who you are, what you want, what's important, and how you can adjust and change the things in your life. Because at the end of the day, there is no one size fits all. You got to figure out what works for you and depending on your background and the roles you're in. But the key is,
I find, sorry, go on, the key.
no, the key was just the internal
Yeah.
internal pressure is what we create ourselves.
Well, and I get that from social media, which is why I took a social media break, because I see influencers and I see other coaches who are killing it and they're always on and they're always doing this. And I have to remind myself they don't have children or they have help at home and their spouse isn't traveling all the time. And it's like, I have to remind myself of that. Like, that dude over there who's killing it is not going through perimenopause. he's sleeping through the night.
Might get his midlife crisis at some point too, but at the end of the day is yes.
That was the pressure I was putting on myself when I see them doing it. And I'm happy that they are. I'm not judging them that they're doing well. I'm just, why is that not working for me? Well, it's just going to be a little slower for me. It's going to look different for me.
Yeah.
Because I have other things to balance.
And that's exactly the mindset that we all have to adopt to, is that it's my personal growth. It's my journey where I'm at. And now, like for me, I was definitely compromised quite a bit with my health history. And due to that, I had to adjust so much. And that was hard because that's not naturally who I was. I'm like an energy bunny. And I did back to back the things and I just couldn't anymore because I just didn't sleep enough for actually holding up with that. So I ended up with an A day, or if I woke up and
I still love that.
I got my B day. Oh, it took me years to accept it though and feel good with that. I can say now that I'm like, yeah, there's no like feeling guilty. I'm like, it is just who I am. That's just who I am, to just go really fully embrace and go, yeah, you know what? I can't compare myself to somebody else because it's just me.
Yeah.
Nobody is like me and went through what I have or has the same situation going on. So we need to just learn from others. But then at the end of the day, the mindset we need to have is that it's my journey and my growth, and I will adjust and be kind to myself, knowing that you can't compare yourself to others. We're all different and in different stages in life, and things happen. So just like you said, more self-compassion is really needed. And if you're struggling with that, there's so many different techniques of high-fiving yourself in the mirror.
Yeah, I love that one.
Writing down. I actually did write down for a while, like on a little post-it, it's okay. Like literally like that, just to remind myself on like, it's okay. Or have like a certain, when I start feeling and recognizing that it made me angry, that I couldn't do as much as I wanted to, I'm like, stop being angry. It is what it is. Make the best out of it and just know that you can only do whatever you can do. That's all you can do at that moment.
When I catch myself doing that, because I've been doing a lot of judging of myself, which, we do. I'm really trying to stop and acknowledge the different parts of my body and myself that like I thank my body and say something kind to myself. So I think it's acknowledging it, like we said earlier, and then what's the next step is, change that negativity to something positive and say something positive to yourself, because it's not going to change just with recognition. You have to do something positive on the other end.
Yeah. And I think that's also important when I say I have my B day because I didn't sleep well, but I've been working on my sleep. So it's not about like, oh, I'm just not feeling like it. I'm
Right.
not doing it. So
Your sleep is your work.
but the point is like, yeah, when we adjusting our schedules or we doing things, it's not about like just dropping everything. That's not what it's about. You still want to grow and you want to work on different things. So if you're feeling too stressed, you should work on stress management and working on dealing with that. I struggled with the sleep due to my health history. So I've been working on my sleep and my sleep got better. And I'm basically now not having many B days. Um, so, which, if anybody didn't know the story yet,
Yeah.
but when I had to come to the conclusion, whatever I had planned the next day may not work out because I was simply too tired to function. And so I just kind of went with, okay, what is a minimum that I need to get done that day, and just skimmed it down to the minimum. And that was, I called it my B day, meaning
Instead of
that's
your A day.
my alternative day to get at least something done and not just dropping it all and just not participating. But I've been working on my sleep for years and it's gotten so much better. And so the point is being aware, recognizing, and then working on the things you need to work on, that you do find a better energy and time management situation for you to really participate fully and joyfully with all of your roles in life that you have, I think.
Yeah. I love that.
That's yeah, that's what I think is important when we're talking about
Yeah.
life balance.
I agree. And I've recognized that my whole summer is a B day. And yesterday, though, a random day showed up that became an A day. And so I made that an A day and I got some work done. And then the rest of the summer.
Yeah.
And, in a couple of weeks when the kids are back in school, I'll have more A days and
Yeah.
less B days.
Yeah. And all of those things, yeah, check out if you like this episode, check out the other episodes we had, because we talked about, self-care, time management,
Self-care.
lots of other gratitude practice, journaling. So all these kind of tools and strategies that you might need to implement, some of those, not all of them, some of those for yourself to find what works for you. So that's the key. So yeah, till
Yeah.
next episode.
Yeah. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.